I'm such a sucker for intro music and the pop. God, when that music hits and you go pop, I mean, you hear and look at that crowd, it's insane. Yeah, I think that it's so interesting because, I mean, granted, they shocked us with it, and I get it. Brock was a big, bad man, and he was a real, obviously a UFC champion and a recognized wrestler and all of these things. Such a powerful force. I get it. Him being the one to break the streak. But I mean, and again, maybe this is just my silly dark brain, and maybe I'm biased because I believe in like passing the torch, giving someone like a real rub.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on maybe Bray getting to do that instead of Brock in retrospect?
Yeah, it would have been, I've spoke on that. I don't think Brock needed it.
Right.
Brock was already, in my opinion, established star, mega star.
Yeah.
But I think a guy like, and Roman ended up being another mega star, but it would have been good for Roman to do it at the end of my career if you're going to pass it on. But Bray, if the storyline would have been done right, that would have been ideally. Yeah. I mean, it would have there's so much you could have done there. Yeah. I mean, not only you're not passing the torch, you're passing spirits, you're passing
100%.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There would have been so many levels
generations
to that.
Of fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And shit that he would have been able, obviously, things happening different than what they did with him, but I mean, he would have been able to pull that crap out for years and years and years. There would have been so many, like I said, so many layers. Yeah. And that would have been, I think that would have been the ideal person to do that with. But
they could have potentially used your character for a few years as well, just in promos and things like that with Bray potentially.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What was the guys up there in 300? They had to go get were they oracles? They had to get the oracles okay to go to war. Yeah, and they didn't do it. Yeah,
it's almost like he has to go to the throne.
Yeah, he has to go to the throne to declare war on somebody.
That's so cool.
Yeah, there's so much, like he has to go to the pits of hell or whatever to go to you that's sitting on this throne of death or whatever. Like, that could have. But so Tony, is Attitude Era your favorite era of wrestling, or was it like? I mean, it's everybody's, right?
I mean, how could it not be, right?
Yeah. I feel like it is. Outside of this guy, I mean, who were you on the edge of your seat for? I mean, because I feel like everyone during that time, I mean, every match was a great match. Every Monday night was must-see TV. It was better than any pay-per-view that you're going to watch. It was amazing.
And it was just so funny. That's the thing. Like, it's like, I mean, it was just hysterical. Yeah, it was really just, the way that they were able to make it so refillable. It wasn't, it's not the most iconic moments that stand out to me. It's those random, it's when I'm on Twitter following these goofy wrestling things, the things that I forgot about. Just
you and me both.
Yeah. But it was just so crazy. I mean, it's interesting because, again, I graduated high school in 2003. So that was kind of like whatever happened right after that. Like, I moved to LA and like all these things. So like everything changed. So like when everybody started going, what? To Stone Cold, that's where I'm kind of like, that's just after my time.
Yeah.
So there's like a gap. There's a big gap between 2004 and like 2000, whenever Daniel Bryan and Bray were really like,
come on,
yeah. So whatever that was, 2011, 2012, something like that. But I mean, yeah, man, The Rock, Stone Cold, all the promos, all the things that they were saying to start an episode, I'm such a sucker for intro music and the pop. I'm all about the pop.
All about the pop, yep.
Sometimes if I need a pick-me-up, this is true, by the way. Like, if I need to, like, fire myself up, there's, like, a few things I watch. Kelly Pavlik, an old boxer from my hometown of Youngstown, beating Jermaine Taylor in a boxing match. There's a new middleweight champion of the world, and he's from Youngstown, Ohio, Jim Lampley says, and it gives me energy. But there's a lot of little wrestling ones. One of them is the first ever entrance of Chris Jericho, that final countdown where it's like a throwaway. You forgot the clock was running. It's this weird thing they were showing. It felt like 8 months of just this burn and burn.
The clock running down through the year 2000. Yeah.
And that's one. Oh my God, when that music hits and you go pop, I mean, you hear and look at that crowd, it's insane. Even though I'm not a big WCW guy, that one time that they threw away that Monday night and and they let Goldberg beat Hogan on a random on a random Monday in Atlanta in front of Goldberg's entire sold out stadium, and he gets him up in the jackhammer and jackhammers him. And I mean, you know, I will give WCW credit for that. It's kind of charming in its trashy ways, because I kind of like the paper cups and everything being thrown into the ring. Gives it so much interesting flavor for an uncoordinated, you know, sloppy fest. But that's one. There's so many. There's just pops. The reaction of the crowd is what gets me in anything. It could be anything.
Do you watch the girl that does the ring announcing now? Was it Samantha Irvin or something?
Yeah.
Do you follow her on Instagram?
No.
You need to, if that's what you're into.
Oh, what's going on?
So she has a camera sitting on her. Have you seen any of these?
She gets,
And like when there's a surprise, like there's one famous one where when The Rock comes out and she doesn't realize The Rock, and she's like a kid. She's like that 9-year-old on your living room floor on that Monday night when you hear the glass break and Stone Cold comes out and you're jumping up and down. That's her as a grown person working
ring announcing.
Yes, and she's a ring announcer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it is so awesome to watch those reactions that she has with the camera that's on her, that she's got in her little area right there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
She does a really good job.
It's passion. I love seeing passion with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that just go through the motions, man, but she's good at what she does, and then she's having fun while she does it, and it's pretty cool.
So we like to do Mount Rushmores, not just Mount Rushmores of wrestlers. We like to do Mount Rushmores of other things that's going on in wrestling or what's happened in wrestling. So a couple of them that I'd like to hear from you. First one I would like to hear from you is, who is your actual Mount Rushmore of wrestlers? Like who's your 4?
4 wrestlers all time?
Yeah, all time.
Okay. Now, this is a tough one because I'm a big promo guy. I'm a big straight to camera guy. I'm not the in-ring technician guy, so I'll throw that disclaimer out there. And so with that said, and you know, I was born in 84. So all these people that are going to say, what about Bret Hart? What about, you know, whatever. There's your disclaimer. My Mount Rushmore, and I have not prepared for this, but I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to say, I'm going to keep it real. First of all, like you said, Ole Anderson. No, I'm kidding.
What the hell?
Antonio.
I was about to hit you with a chair, man.
I would love that.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man, it's a real simple.
It is. So it's, you know, the people that hit me the most: Ric Flair, The Undertaker, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love Hogan. I get it. And when I was the tiniest of little kids, Hogan was my original gateway in. Like when I was literally 3 or 4 and I'm like, goo goo gaga, what's that? Like, but as soon as I became like anything, I was always about the heels. Still to this day.
I'm the same way. I was a heels guy when I was a kid.
So those are my big 4, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the ones that I've listened to those 4 guys talk more than I've listened to my own father, my brothers. Like it's if we were to compile the hours. Again, it's just me with a TV tray. Because again, I'm the youngest of 5, but I'm the youngest of 5 by 12 years.
Right.
So when I was 5, my closest brother was in Columbus going to college at Ohio State. So I had the whole, little garbage house to myself. So I was just trying to entertain myself. No dad living with us. So like these giant men were larger than life. It was like some form of testosterone in the household. And so it was all super, super influential and unbelievably entertaining to me. But yeah, it was the funny people and the darkness and that's what hit me. It wasn't that big. I liked DX. I should have been a bigger DX fan for what it was. Like, suck it. But I kind of saw like the immaturity of it wasn't that impressive to me. I remember the grade underneath me all being DX people and the grade underneath them all being DX people. There's a certain psychology of ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
And us 84 kids pretty much like agree across the boards on these things.
I was born in '83. I'm not a big DX guy. I'm a huge Triple H fan. I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I individually, I really like these guys. Together as that group, I wasn't.
That moonsault into the Tombstone. I mean, ridiculous. You must hear it every day, but oh my
Only
god.
did it once.
Oh my god.
We practiced, never could get it, and we just said, do it. We'll do it tomorrow. And we did it.
Really?
Yeah. We tried it 3 times the night before. I missed him every time. We did it.
Whoa.
We did it in the show, and perfect.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh my god. That is so cool.
Yeah, that is good stuff. So Mark, this is for you as well. You guys can combine on this. You can come together to build this.
Together.
He loves to sing. Mount Rushmore of wrestling moments that really, because there's 2 that pop in my head that really like changed, I think, wrestling. And the 2 that I have is Hogan beating Andre.
Slamming Andre.
Yeah, slamming Andre.
Yeah.
And then Hogan turning heel. And you can say what you want. I just feel like that night is what made the Monday Night Wars what they were.
The Mount Rushmore of moments.
Of moments in wrestling history.
Yeah. And you have to think, I think like you do, like you just can't think of, you have to put it in criteria. Like that was my original Mount Rushmore. The influence that my Mount Rushmore wrestlers had on the industry. That's how I put mine together. I'll start with Andre being slammed by Hogan.
Okay.
That's a moment. The Austin 316 promo.
Yep. Oh,
Changed
absolutely.
Huge.
Rock and Hogan meeting in the ring for the first time before their WrestleMania, where they just stared and looked at each other. Mm-hmm. And I think the streak getting broke.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
That's great. Great analysis. When I did just like I did Rogan with you and with Ric Flair and with Jake the Snake, I also did it with Hogan. And I made him, again, because Joe's thing with pro wrestling is, wow, they put their bodies through a lot. They're unbelievable athletes. I don't really get it.
Right.
Like, it's his thing. But I go, Joe, you need to see what it's like when Hogan and The Rock face off. And one of my favorite things is getting to turn the serious people. You see a glimmer in their eyes. They're just like, whoa. And it was very cool. We played it on the show, which is like it's a special thing to get to shoehorn something in there. Like a Joe, you got to see this means it has to be good.
Right.
And yeah, that was so cool. And yeah, we've covered all 4 of those moments except for Austin 316 on his show. Because I remember him seeing the reactions to your streak being broken on one of the ones that I did with him as well. I don't know if it was the one that you were on, but we very rarely roll video of
Right.
pro wrestling, even if we're talking about it or this
Right.
or that. Only the very best stuff. And, but yeah, man, wild that all 4 of those. Stone Cold's thing. What year was that?
That was 98,
King of the Ring.
right after King of the Ring. Yeah. I think he'd just wrestled Bret Hart. They had that just killer match. And he came out the next night with Austin 316. Means I just kicked your ass.
Yeah.
And we were off. We were off and running because we'd been getting our asses handed to us for weeks and months at that point. But from the Monday Night Wars, that was kind of the
You don't put Hogan turning heel in there, huh?
nah.
Where do you put that, Tony?
You
I feel
mean,
like it
you
was-
mean NWO?
Yeah, when he turned. I mean, this is when he turned heel for the first time, or the only time, really. I guess.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a different type of person, and I get it. A lot of my wrestling buddies, they add a lot of WCW stuff to this list and that list and things like that. But I mean, again, other than the unbelievably comedic, I mean, it's their doofy decisions that stand out to me as like unbelievable. Like again, Goldberg giving that away. Just here you go. Well, we're gonna win every Monday after this because we're giving this away. So we're telling them anything can happen on a Monday, but it's like no, you just gave away the money shot.
All the money right there.
Oh my God. I just can't put WCW stuff. And again, the NWO was cool, I'm 14 or whatever. That period of time should have hit me like a ton of bricks. But again, I always look at the little things, the little details, like,
Kevin Nash said it best.
Virgil's in it.
That's what I was about to say. By the end of it, like there was like only 2 or 3 people that weren't NWO.
Well, what ended up happening that they screwed the pooch on that, right? Like, but Kevin Nash. I mean, like everybody in the place was part of NWO, and it became something that was just stupid. The very beginning of it was really cool. It was like that was the reason why they were able to end up beating WWF there for a while. Right. But Kevin Nash has gone on record by saying, he goes, we come in there and that first night, and you got 2 dudes that are from the other product, and we beat up your entire locker room with just 2 of us and a baseball bat. And he goes, you essentially hurt yourself by doing that. You just said that nobody in your locker room
could take anybody
can take us to, which this whole thing is supposed to be. The outsiders are WWE's invading WCW.
Right.
And he goes, and we beat up your entire locker room the first night. He goes, and Kevin Nash said, he goes, y'all are never going to beat Vince.
Right. Yeah, that's a brilliant point. I never even thought of it that way. I'm looking back at it, 30 years later, like, oh yeah.
Booking ain't easy.
Yeah.
No, it ain't. It's not. I mean, to make things, to clear up, holes and, things that you don't think about. Like you said, I never look at it that way.
Yeah. You have to do it week after week. So even if you have something that works once, they're waiting next week. So it's like, whoa.
I think that writer's job, that has to be is that the hardest job in wrestling, you think?
I mean, that you don't have to do, I don't know, man.
Without having to get in the ring.
I don't know. Our riggers and stuff like that have a hard job, but I'm talking about stress. And it's not so much now, but when the big man was still there, that was a highly stressful job and a very short-lived for most. I mean, there was a pretty high turnover rate.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, people would just quit because they couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
And to have your ideas that, I can tell you as a writer, I've written for a lot of things where other people are executing what you've written. And when you believe in it and then it gets thrown out at the last minute, it's devastating.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you feel like you're worth nothing. And this thing that you envisioned, you'd almost do it for free if you felt like you were making a change and people were enjoying your work. So like money doesn't save it when your creativity goes to waste.
Yeah.
That's a hard part, is the script being thrown out an hour before the show and rewrite it, like that part.
There were several times I know with me where this is something you just had to accept being in the WWE in those early days. Is like you might, we spent hours and hours and hours on the road driving from one town to, and that's where a lot of good creative happen. You're drinking beer and you're talking, and everybody's kind of snowballing and ideas. But then
a lot of snow.
Well, you just
He's throwing you under the bus over
Not
there.
you, not you. Your friends.
I was mainlining. Right? No, but have ideas and storylines, and you pitch it for yourself, and it goes, Vince goes, that's really good, and then give it to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Those were man. I took a couple of gut shots of stuff that I had like worked and just detailed after, and it was like, God damn, that's awesome. I'm gonna give it to someone. And I'm like, no, that was for me. He goes, nah, doesn't work for you, but this is gonna be great. And I'm just like, oh.
Do you remember a good one that was executed that we might remember?
No, I think I burn them out of my brain.
Right.
Just
Compartmentalize. I get that. We were just talking about that last night about a couple terrible auditions that I had, and I can't remember a lot about them from back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I literally just ship them off.
You got to
down the chocolate factory to be able to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Short memory.
Short memory.
Yeah.
It's getting shorter all the time, as we found out.
So, Mark, we've done some Mount Rushmores of wrestling. Since we have Tony here, what's your Mount Rushmore of comedians? I mean, you are I know you're a savant, and I'd like to hear yours as well.
Savant.
It's out of control.
I googled.
Did you figure out what that? Give me
yeah.
the definition of savant.
Somebody that knows about wine.
Somebody that knows about wine is a savant.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Dinner tonight. I'm gonna hopefully a savant will tell me which.
Recommend a good wine.
Yeah, I can recommend a good wine. And I'd like to hear yours too, Tony. Who's your Mount Rushmore of comedians?
Gosh, dang.
I mean, this is easy as well. I mean, there's one that is on everybody's.
There's the one.
Yeah, Sinbad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got Pryor on there.
You have to have Ole Anderson on there.
Yes, Ole has to be. Ole has to be on that. Yeah.
I love how you keep bringing up Ole too.
Yeah,
You told him he could never.
He's the one that told
Nobody
me.
would ever pay to watch him
And I'm
wrestle.
trying to be nice because Ole just passed away.
Yes, we're not
Oh,
going to
he
talk.
did?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I
just,
didn't
him
know
and
that.
Virgil. Him and Virgil both.
They just passed away,
Back-to-back
but he was the
days.
one. Yeah, Ole's the one that told me that no one would ever pay money to see me wrestle.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. We're gonna put a picture of him on the shelf back
I
here.
have a
for
couple.
next-
I have a couple of those in the comedy world. They're pumping gas in upstate New York right now. I'm not even
Exactly.
kidding.
Man, I like Chappelle. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man,
That's where I met you. I met you at
Yep.
Stubbs at a Chappelle show.
yeah.
I remember his manager coming over because he knew I was a wrestling fan, and he goes, "Look over there," and god damn, that was a starstruck moment. It's interesting because people are, living in LA for almost 20 years. You see all these people, but no one's literally like larger than life. You know what I mean? And then there's you amongst a bunch of nerdy stand-up fans, just blatantly, just literally a half a body taller than everybody else. All these executives and everybody just trying to weasel their way towards Chappelle.
And I'll say,
Who let the freak in?
Yeah, I will say, I echo that statement because I work with a lot of different celebrities, of country singers and whatever, and even social media people and everything else that are, I guess, quote unquote celebrities. But He's the only one. Like I just went to a huge thing in Vegas back in January, and I'm at an event where like Liver King is there, and there's just all these big celebrities that are there and stuff.
Right.
And what's the question that I'm getting from everybody? Hey, where's Undertaker?
Yeah.
Hey, how's Undertaker doing?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, where's Mark at?
Liver King can suck it.
All right, that's all right. Yeah, you should have listened to Hulk Hogan, man. Just take your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yeah.
Well, that was the problem. There was too many
Yeah,
vitamins.
it's too many vitamins. Who's on your Mount Rushmore, Tony? Comedians.
Well, we're matched up. Definitely those two. Mine's a little tricky because it's weird, right? Because again, it's different eras, different ages. So like Jim Carrey affected my childhood so deeply. I mean, from In Living Color to Ace Ventura to, oh God, what the hell? Yeah, everything. But especially when he did Man on the Moon, where he played Andy Kaufman. I was in 8th grade, about to be a freshman in high school. And it was like, I didn't know anything about Andy Kaufman, and I was expecting it to be this funny movie, this really silly movie, because I knew he was playing this comedian. That's all I knew. And it ended up being, of course, dark and kind of like creepy. And so I bought all the way into it. And so we'll throw Jim Carrey at number 3, and it's crazy. It's an impossible thing for me. I mean, I could throw David Letterman in there. I could throw Shane Gillis in there right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's killing it.
He's a monster. I have to go up after him all the time now. We just convinced him to move to Austin, and now I have to follow his ass. And I love it though. He's the best, the most fun hang. But yeah, Louis, you name it. They're all there. They're all
Norm.
It's hard.
Norm Macdonald
God.
for me is on. He's on mine.
It's hard to pick 4 in comedy.
Yeah. We usually do fan questions, like 3 fan questions, and I want to give that responsibility to you. Like, do you have? It could just be 1 question, or it could be 3 questions that you've always wanted to ask the Undertaker about his career, anything.
Wow, that's an interesting one. The Tombstone is such a horrifying move in real life. To actually do that to somebody, it's a pretty crazy move. It's a scary move with a lot of responsibility on you and on the other person. And I guess my question is like, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but like, what's the worst that's ever come out? Because you've obviously had to do it thousands of times.
Well,
I mean,
what?
You must know more than me.
There's
a couple.
ones.
There's a couple
Oh,
of
no.
significant ones.
Yes.
I should
the
have
most part.
Googled this instead of saying
No. For the most part.
Koko Beware used to be 6'6", by the way.
So, let me start with Koko. So, when I debuted Survivor Series 1990, I was Ted DiBiase's. He debuted this guy, so I got to work against Dusty Rhodes, the Hart Foundation, and Koko Beware. And obviously, the whole match was designed to, make me look good and shine. The very first tombstone that I give was to Koko. And I give him the tombstone. 1, 2, 3, he's out. Anyway, we end up finishing the match, whatever. I get backstage. Koko is like, he gets me in the hallway, and man, he's just giving me the riot act. Like, man, somebody gives you your body, you got to be able to protect them, man. You hurt my neck. And I'm like, Koko, man, like, hey, if I hurt you, man, I'm sorry. I really pride myself on, being safe and taking care of the guys that I'm working with. I said, I apologize. And he just, he kept going. He was pissed. He kept going. And anyway, it got to the point where, like, I'd apologized all I could apologize for, and I was like, and that's what I said. I was like, Koko, I've apologized to you as much as I know how to do. I said, if you're not going to accept that, like, maybe we need to go out in the lot, and, and figure this out.
This versus Koko.
Well, hey, Koko was tough, man.
Yeah,
He's a tough
yeah.
dude, but I mean, he's already confronted me. I mean, he's already given me the riot act. He's looking up at me. I'm like, that took balls in its own right.
Yeah.
And but he was like, no, man, you just need to learn to be more careful. And that was it. And me and Koko were fine. We've been fine ever since. And anytime we see each other, we hug and everything else. Would you shut up? Let me
snug. We're just showing the.
get for perspective.
Oh,
Come on! It didn't deserve all that. Now
He folded him up like a cheap card table.
anyway,
oh,
I was.
Koko used to be.
you were going to take him in the lot and beat the shit out of him after that?
I would apologize. I apologized.
He had probably forgotten that you'd apologize. Every time you apologize, he probably had enough. I don't know if I brought this up to you yet, but you need to be safer out there.
Could you imagine if he was actually facing the hard camera where we could actually see what happened?
Oh man, that's why it looked so bad, because I wasn't facing hard camera. If I'd have been facing, you would. Anyway, so all these years,
It's like, it was a little bit of a snug tombstone.
so all these years, I thought I really
You
did.
have to show that. I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but you have to have that go over again and again on the actual video part of this. That one little GIF.
I mean, Koko
Just
and all
one
of the.
leg disappearing.
We had to.
for some
So
reason.
the first time he ever talked about this, we had to do a follow up where Mark was like, after watching that video,
Well, that's what I was about to say.
crying.
Like, I, after it came up, I actually went and watched it back, and I was like, oh. Koko had a little bit of beef there. I was like, damn, because I was always under the impression, I was like, man, he's overreacted here a little bit. And then I went back and watched it, and I was like,
reaction.
I was like, holy shit, I damn near killed Koko.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The
You almost
only
made
one
Frankie
that,
an orphan.
yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
the only one, obviously, that's worse than that. I mean, it was I damn near broke the Golden Goose's neck with the air tombstone.
You know the Hogan story, right?
No.
Oh, you don't know this story? Oh man, 1991, my 1 year anniversary with the company. I wrestle at Survivor Series. I wrestle none other than the Golden Goose himself, and that was, Hogan was referred to as the Golden Goose. He was the star, the moneymaker, the big dude. So, I'm going to go over. I'm going to win the championship. And at the time, I was the youngest. That would have made me the youngest champion in WWF at the time history. Like Hogan back in the day, the rest of the talent usually had to show up by 1 o'clock on a pay-per-view TV day. Hogan usually roll in around 5, do his deal. So I get there. It's at Joe Louis Arena, Detroit, Michigan. I show up there about noon, 12:30. Hogan's already there.
Oh.
And I'm walking down the hall, just going to my locker room, and he goes, hey brother, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, sure, man, yeah. I said, no, let me just drop my bag off. He's, no, I'll come with you. So I go into the dressing room, I put my bag off. He goes, hey, let's go back here into the shower. Like back in the day, you go in the shower, usually means you're going to settle something or something that had to be discussed that was important. You're either going to fight or something was going to happen. That's usually where it happened at. Mm-hmm. So we go back into the shower. Nobody can hear us. Nobody talk. He goes, hey, I'm really nervous about taking the Tombstone. I got this bad neck. And I was like, Terry, I said, look, I promise you. I said, I'll take great care of you. I don't need, you don't need to worry. I'll have you. I said, just don't worry about it. Well, I've got a lot of neck issues. I was like, well, I mean, And he said, I'm going to do it. I just need you to know I got these neck issues. And I was like, brother, I promise you, your head will never touch. Okay, so now we have this conversation. We part ways. Now, every time that I see him for the rest of the day, like, you know, going through catering or whatnot, you know, he gives me the old, like, don't forget what we talked about, right?
Right.
He's like, he'd hold his neck and, you know, give me, brother. So, yeah, it started to get to me a little bit. Like, I'm about to beat Hulk Hogan for the world heavyweight title. And so we get into the match, and match goes the way it goes. Now it's time for the finish. Finish is where I'm going to tombstone him on a chair. Flair he runs down to the ring, slides the chair into the ring. I give him a tombstone on the chair. That was going to be it. 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. When I tell you, I had the man, and the man was. I've given my kids rougher bumps than I give Hogan.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I wrap him up. I've got him. The chair comes down. Boom! As soon as my knees touch, right, which, you know, Hogan's the big dude. Boom! As soon as my knees touch, oh brother, you got me. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, I just crippled the Golden Goose. I just hurt Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've gone from becoming champion till I'm going to probably get fired over this, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is all running through my mind in the instant. Like, oh crap. You know, he warned. I am just like in strict panic mode. He's laying there. Finally, he gets up and he leaves. I don't remember if he was helped out or whatnot. So I'm here, like I'm supposed to be having this moment, you know, which it had to have been internal anyway, because I'm the Undertaker, and the Undertaker wouldn't celebrate. But all I'm thinking of is like, I'm about to go backstage and get fired, and I've hurt Hulk Hogan on top of it, right? This is like, you just fumbled. So I'm walking back, and I get backstage, and I was like, where's Hogan? And they said, no, he's in Vince's office. I'm like, oh, great. So I go into Vince's office there at Joe Louis. Hogan's laid on the floor.
Oh, no.
Got people all around him, you know. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm going over, like, you know, check on him and, you know, apologize and everything else. Like, as soon as I start to get over there, here come the EMTs. And like, it's, you know, back then, and it was still kayfabe and everything. Everybody protected the business. So I went into the restroom and was like kind of behind a retaining wall that was like that. And, you know, I can hear the conversation, you know, like, hey, can you feel your hands? Can you this and that? And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm just like in strict, I'm in total panic. And Shane McMahon comes back, and, you know, he's shaking his head. He's like, I don't really understand why he's shaking his head, no, but he's shaking his head like, don't, you know, you shouldn't be worried about this. And I'm just like, you know, are you freaking kidding me? You know?
And what is he at the time? Like 18 or something?
Oh yeah, he was young. Yeah. And you know, I can hear the MTs, you know, they're checking him out. And then all of a sudden I hear Hogan go, somebody get my wife and kids on the phone. And I'm just like, oh. Anyway, they put him on the board, and then they put the board on the gurney. They take him off to the hospital. I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna have to start calling. You know, I'm gonna call and apologize to Ole, tell him I'm.
You're right.
I'm right, but can I just, you know? So I'm walking down the hall, right, and I just think I've crippled Hulk Hogan, and, you know, guys are coming up to me like Mark, his head never touched, and I'm like, no, I can't hear it, right? I mean, I can't. That none of that is registering with me. I'm like, no, man, I dropped him. I dropped him on his head. I hurt him bad. I mean, they took him out in an ambulance, and everybody's telling me like,
you're rationalizing it. The chair, it's 2 inches higher than what you're used to tombstoning. He must have clipped it.
But everybody's coming up to
You're
me.
probably replaying what you actually did to Koko Beware.
Right. But everybody's coming. That's great. Yeah.
Not again.
Even Koko.
Not again.
Koko was probably at home rolling. I see it, son of a bitch. No. So, but all the guys are coming up and saying, like, man, his head never touched. And I'm like, no, man, I got him. So we didn't have, I didn't have the same accessibility to monitors and playback back there in 91 as we do now. So it took a few days before I actually got to see the footage. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, my head never touched.
Right.
Here you go, Tony.
He was old school. Wow.
You can see how far his head is from the chair.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I've given my kids much rougher bumps than that.
And what sucks about this is Mark has his family in town.
Yeah, I'd flown.
Right.
Like, I'm still trying to dig myself out of debt, but I'm about to win the World Heavyweight Championship, so I've flown my family to Detroit.
Wow.
From Houston, and they're ready to celebrate and have a good time, and I can't even, I couldn't eat.
I missed your reservations. And
everything. It was horrible. But now I see the footage, and I'm thinking, like, his head never touched. Like, why? So now I'm having to have this. They come up with this Tuesday in Texas, this pay-per-view that they just add out of the clear blue. Pay-per-view on Tuesday never happened, but now there's this Tuesday in Texas pay-per-view. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be my punishment. They're going to take the title away from me right now, and all this stuff's in my head. But I'm going to get an answer. So I'm thinking, well, I ain't got fired yet, but I need to know what's going on here. So Terry shows up, and I pull him aside, and I was like, Terry. He goes, yeah, brother. I was like, I watched the footage back of that Tombstone. He was like, yeah, brother, yeah. And I was like, your head never hit. He goes, oh yeah, brother. Well, what it was that you had me so tight when you were protecting me, but you had me so tight that when I came down, I didn't have any room to move, and it wrenched my neck. And I'm like, at that moment right then, I knew. I said, okay. What am I doing? I can't. I'm not gonna fight Hulk Hogan. I don't. That's definitely a red slip there, pink slip. But it let me know everything that I needed to know at that time about who he was as a person. Like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. Like. And to this day, I don't know if he was just trying to hold me back or whatever the situation was, but yeah.
But now he found Jesus.
Did not want to lose his championship belt.
I don't,
as clear as day. I mean, that's the right. I mean, it is just the ultimate Hoganism, and you almost gotta kind of love it, right? Because it's like that belt to him, even though it's always time to move somebody up and give them the elevation to him. Even though, again, it's like you have to write the story. You have to always have it evolve. It's a weekly show. I mean, you have to have other people win sometimes. It's so interesting to me. His unbelievable, never-ending desire to come out as number one.
You go back and watch that match. The one thing is my pet peeve of that entire match with him was Mark tombstoned him earlier in the match. And at that point, Mark's never lost. No one's ever gotten up from the tombstone. He tombstones him. And within 3 seconds, Hogan is up, shaking the ropes. He didn't sell it at all. Of course. And that's the first time he'd ever taken the tombstone. Wow. And I go on record by saying, if he would have laid there and sold it and allowed Taker to cross those arms and kick out on two, that would have been he would have blown the roof off the place if he would have done that. Hulkamania is alive and well.
Right.
Bobby Heenan's over here screaming that Hulkamania is dead, and all of a sudden it's back alive again.
Right. But instead he had to no sell it.
Yeah.
And it's a lesser
It drives me
experience
crazy.
for everybody in the arena.
Let it go,
Makes
Matt.
him look weaker, makes the audience not as excited.
Yeah.
And, and for what? Like, it's like, that's your opponent. Give him the 2 count. It's such an interesting.
It's better for you.
Yeah, it's
Totally,
better for-
100%.
it was better for
It would have been
everything,
better for him.
But yeah, anyway, so
That's the story of Hulk Hogan.
That's
getting
amazing.
the Tombstone.
Honestly, I like the Koko Beware story more. I was not expecting that video to be so damn funny.
Oh, he almost killed him.
And
Yeah.
facing the other way makes it better.
it made it look worse than it was.
There's so many things wrong with
Who
that
would have
first
guessed that
Tombstone.
guy Tombstone in Koko Beware was a month or 2 away from his first youngest ever championship bout?
It's amazing.
1 year.
I think Kane might have got one rough too, and when I wrestled him, he's a big dude.
He's big.
He's
dude.
this big
That'd be
old
tough.
thick boy. But yeah, he's so tough. He didn't.
Yeah.
If I'd have give Hogan the Tombstone, I give Kane, and I would have bought it. Like, yeah, I about to killed you.
Yeah.
But Kane just got up with me. All right.
It'd been so much better if Kane did all that to you as well that same night. Like,
All those years later,
great.
you got me, brother.
Well, another great episode. And Tony, man, what an honor to have you here on
What
the
an
show.
honor to be here. Just a few Texans hanging out, sneaking away. Got my Buzz Milk coffee. Gonna go shoot guns and do comedy and eat good food. Happy to be here.
Man, I
right
can't-
around the corner.
can't thank you enough.
We got to get you to the mothership, though. That's my
Absolutely.
beef. That's my only
hey.
beef. We're right here. It's Rogan's Club. It's
All right.
us.
No, all right. I
Bunch
got
of
you.
it's a bunch of the boys
Yeah, too
I got
easy.
you.
laughing it up.
He knows. He knows though that I don't go out.
It would be easier for y'all to bring the show to Mark's house, bro.
No.
No, we have a balcony. You're separated from no one will bother you up there.
right.
It's great.
All right.
Bring the
I'm gonna
lady
do it.
or whoever you want or whatever. The boys, the
I'm
girls.
gonna bring
whatever.
Koko.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. Just make sure you guys are facing the right way when you're watching the comedy show.
No, Koko, turn around.
Coco, turn around. That Frankie there.
I can't wait to run into him again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I haven't seen him since his text where he said he used to be 6'3".
Are you coming to WrestleMania in Philly?
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. I have to do a weekend of shows. I could technically. I'm in Houston on the Saturday, so I'd have to get on a flight on
Lord,
Sunday.
yeah,
So it's
that's-
kind of it seems tough.
Well, Tony, once again, appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Can't thank you
It's
enough.
absolutely
Congratulations
my
on
pleasure.
all of your success.
Yep.
And what you're doing is absolutely amazing. Where can people find your show and all that good
Kill
stuff?
Tony is on YouTube every Monday at 8, and all the back episodes are fun too. So catch up and enjoy the ride. See me live. I'm on tour all over the country, and TonyHinchcliffe.com for tickets.
Awesome. Well, we want to
Rock
thank
the garden.
man,
Yeah.
go kill it.
Oh, yeah.
Burn the place down.
Yep,
Burn the place
100%.
down. Thank you, First Form and Wiley X Sunglasses, for helping us keep this thing moving. And Tony, we appreciate it, man. Thanks, brother. You're welcome back anytime, brother.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
Thanks, man.
Bye bye.
Thanks, T.
Thank you.